I am Michael Robles, your MC for this morning's ceremony. Please rise and remove your hats as Jack Russ starts with a prayer.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. First off, I'd like to thank Michael for finding a necessity that we pray on this beautiful Sunday morning. We can all bow our heads. Dear Lord, I come to you today in remembrance of the tragic events that occurred just 15 years ago today. Of the lives lost, not only those within the towers, but the outsiders as well. The NYPD, the FDNY, and all who paid the ultimate price to live like you would and save the lives of those in danger. Oftentimes we ask of you, God, why these horrific events should ever take place. But something I learned many years ago is that God doesn't throw obstacles at things that cannot handle them. As dark as times were and are today, our country did more than survive this day. You gave us the strength, dear Lord, to rally together around one another as we brought a city back together, a nation to its feet, and began a mission to cease the madness that we still face today. And God, I pray, as myself and these young men and women enter the bravest workforce our country has to offer, that you grant us the protection that we will need. And furthermore, I ask of you, God, that we might have the guidance to serve with our country's best interests in mind, in order to lead others with efficiency and protect the lives of those at home. God, while this chaos, this evil seems to never end, we know that all obstacles can be overcome. It is in your name we pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jack. Please remain standing for the raising of colors.
Class. Attain. Hood. Present. Arms. Order. Arms.
Color guard, fall in. Forward, march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Executive officer will give the command parade rest.
Parade. Rest.
I want to first off thank each and every one of you for coming to today's ceremony. This day is an important day in our nation's history that we must never forget. I would now like to call up Sergeant Major Rich to talk a little bit about the events that happened on this day.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate all the work that you all have put into this ceremony. You've done a great job. And what I want to do real briefly is talk about the sequence of events of that day 15 years ago. everybody standing in formation was either 3 or 4 years old, incidentally. 0845, the first plane hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 0903, the second plane hit the South Tower of the World Trade Center. 0943, the third plane hit a portion of the Pentagon. At 10:03 in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the fourth plane hit the ground, obviously, and crashed, killed 33 people. At 10:05, the South Tower of the World Trade Center crashes and collapses. At 10:10, patrons of the Pentagon, portions of the Pentagon collapsed. At 10:28, the North Tower collapses. Shortly thereafter, all government offices in Washington, D.C. and New York City closes and are evacuated. 12:04, Los Angeles International Airport closed. 12:15, San Francisco Airport closes and is evacuated. All aircraft across the country, over the country, coming to the country, and attempting to leave the country were ordered to land someplace as soon as possible. Shortly thereafter, or while that was taking place, many of our planes, military planes, were ordered armed. Since that day, we have 7,021 military personnel killed, not to mention those emergency workers, firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and so forth. So today commemorates that day, and by your presence here today, we will not forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major. I would now like to say a few words about 9/11. Proudly standing on the flagpole in front of you is the American flag that symbolizes freedom. But freedom is not free, it comes at a cost. On this day, September 11th, 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airliners and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were flown into the towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. A 3rd plane hit the Pentagon just outside Washington, D.C., and a 4th plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. Often referred to as 9/11, the attacks resulted in extensive death and destruction, triggering U.S. initiatives to combat terrorism. Over 3,000 people were killed during the attacks in New York and the Pentagon, including more than 400 police officers and firefighters. As we remember the evil events that took place on this date, every year we shall never forget those who perished as a result. Finally, every time you see the American flag, stand tall knowing that the best military is defending this country 24 hours and 7 days a week. We are blessed to live in a country with freedoms and opportunities that other people in other countries can only dream of, as they are prosecuted for words against their government, religious beliefs, gender, nationality, as they do not have the same freedoms that we have here in the United States. We will now conclude today's ceremony by honoring those that made the ultimate sacrifice on September 11, 2001. They will never be forgotten. Please stand and join me in a moment of silence and playing of taps by Cody Sargent, one of our own.
Class. Attain hut. Present. Arms. Order. Order. Arms.
Now, Sergeant Major Rich will make some closing remarks.
As you might have a seat, please. As you might already know, these guys did a great job today putting this all together, coming up with all the things that they've done, and they did a great job. Cadet Lieutenant Michael Robles kind of headed this thing up, and he had a lot of help from squad leaders, others. So I think they're to be commended for making the decision to want to be a military leader and all the things that are pertinent to that. And I commend you all and thank you for what you're doing, what you're attempting to do, and go forth and prosper. Thank you very much for all that you do. Attempting. Thanks.
Thank you, Sergeant. This completes today's ceremony. Thank you all for coming and have a blessed day.
Class dismissed.
Mrs. Bailey will be coming